No. Growing up, there wasn't any, hey, this guy's going to be a future star. So grew fairly quickly, but at the same time consistently. So I was always outgrowing my athleticism. It wasn't really till grade 12 that I had any success on the field or like off the field with basketball as well. So
But my first impression of him was, he was a very tall kid that we'd be very interested in recruiting. Um, I knew that he came from a great high school program in Medicine Hat. Quinn Skelton coached him, and he came into our office and sat down with his mom and dad. 16-year-old kid, acted like a 16-year-old kid, and despite that, we wanted him.
that was the plan, right? I was supposed to redshirt the first year, and then both our starting ends got hurt in the first 2 weeks. So there was a crunch for the team to get someone in there, and then wasn't expecting it, wasn't planned.
Well, I think part of it is physically he was tall enough to play at a position that we wanted him at. And at that time, we played a pro 4-3 defense, and our defensive ends, we looked for tall, athletic kind of guys that had quickness. And Dan fit that mold perfectly. And interestingly enough, our two defensive ends in our scheme were called studs and evils. And Dan played the stud position. And it was great for him because he wasn't in with the big guys inside, but he could use his athleticism and his tallness to beat the offensive lineman as a speed rusher, and that's where we used him. What I was most impressed with Dan is that he became a very quiet leader. And physically, he probably gained 50 pounds, 10 pounds a year of muscle mass and got bigger, faster, stronger. He might even grown an inch because he was 6'7", 6'8" by the time he left. So I was really impressed how hard he worked in the off season, and he became a real quiet leader and a captain for our football team. So, it takes a lot of work to get to the next level. And he just continued to work really, really hard in the off season, obviously in the weight room, working on his skills development on the field, and he became a great player for us.
So third season was really my breakout year. But I didn't start thinking about anything after university until after that fourth season. So it wasn't as good, but I think showed enough. And then the fifth year really was a lot of fun. The work paid off, and everything sort of came together for me that way.
And he ended up playing in the East-West Shrine game down in San Antonio, which I had a chance to go watch him play, and he looked not out of place. And so that's a credit to Dan. So we're very fortunate to have a player like him come to us, and I know his parents are so proud of him to get this award. But the credit goes to Dan. He's worked really, really hard. When I say he's a quiet leader, what I mean by that is he should show by example. He was one of the hardest working guys on the field, and you want your best players to be the best players in practice, and he was one of those guys. So when he got picked up by the NFL Indianapolis Colts as a free agent, I thought, well, he's got the height, he's got the athleticism, he's got the quickness, he's got a chance.
So talking with the coaches, said there was a real possibility of the Shrine game. The CFL draft comes first. So that happened. We were excited about that. At the same time, though, there'd been a couple workouts, like the Jet Scout came up, and then Cal Murphy from the Colts came up to work me out. So it was just kind of like a waiting game after that, but felt that that last season was enough to get something. I didn't think the Colts would draft me. I think the Jets worked me out as a D lineman. I figured if they were going to take me, it was going to be then. Nothing came of that. Only the Colts called afterwards. It didn't take very long post draft. To start off with, stressful. So once again, I was learning a brand new position. So I had nothing to fall back on mentally to relate stuff to. So it was a clean slate. Kind of had an idea with regards to technique stuff that the defense might use and that, but as for learning the plays, running the plays, and all that, I had very little from what I learned on short yardage. Happened to have an injury to offensive tackle late in the season, so got on the field for short yardage, special teams, and that was about it for 5 regular season games in the first playoff game. And then just inactive for the rest of the playoffs. But yeah, going to the Super Bowl was pretty exciting. Everything was from the sidelines for that. I missed the chance to dress for that one. It would have been nice to dress because the same guy who was hurt to end the season re-aggravated it early in the game.
When you look at people that are inducted in the Hall of Fame, you look at players that are great players on the field. And I think there's no question that he became a great player after 5 years, played for 5 years, played at the very highest level at the East-West Shrine Bowl game. He played in the NFL, which is the highest caliber of football, played in the CFL many years. So you look at all those works of art or works of work, you realize that he's a well-deserved candidate. I'm just honored that we had a chance to coach him, not just me, but all the coaches at the University of Calgary, and we're just so proud of him and to be part of this legacy for him.